You know, like when you're laying there, you've woken up in the morning, but you're sort of trying to snooze, and these thoughts pop into your mind. It's never, for me, well, it's never easily, oh, I remember that holiday. It was brilliant. It's always something I did that made me feel stupid or something that was horrible in the past. So it's on I don't know, it's like hardwired into us that there's just this level of just negativity.
Well, it's often shame. It's often feels like shame and regret, isn't it? And yeah, those kind of when we're looking back, the things that seem to plague us and perpetuate suffering in a moment, it's these feelings of shame and regret. And this is another, and again, it might not sound super spiritual to people listening or super awakening, but there's a reason why all all Eastern spiritual traditions start with ethical action. They all start with ethical action. So especially in Buddhism, they don't really even teach meditation until you turn your mind towards ethics. I'm not talking about morals, not talking about a set of morals that you achieve or you abide by. We're talking about living your life ethically and recognizing the consequences of your action. Just that simple. What am I doing? What am I saying? What am I and why am I doing it?
Yeah.
So stay there. And often the regrets that we have and the shame that we feel is because we've lived unethically, unaware of those three things most of our life. So then they naturally they will come back to play out in our minds. As you can imagine, though, if you live a life that is ethically clean, let's say, I'm not saying there's no perfect. It's not like an attainment. You don't get to a top level, but you're very close to experience and you know what you've done, why you've done it, and the effect that it has.
Yeah.
You know, then if you live a life that doesn't hurt people, doesn't mistreat people, doesn't sexually like abuse people, doesn't lie, doesn't steal, don't murder,
Yeah.
don't kill. If you live a life like that, there's a lot less regret. It's just very simple. So then the mind is way freer to explore, or the attention's way freer to explore states of deep concentrated freedom, because we're not being plagued by these after echoes of regret, and it's definitely been the case for me. Like I've had to, yeah, look, working on my actions and how I am in the world has been, I would say, the most important thing to my awakening
Yeah.
and the most important thing to me finding freedom. No matter how deep the meditation got, no matter how deep the insight got, and until the actions were fully acknowledged and uh, yeah, I worked with them effectively. There was no real
So
freedom there,
forgive as well. Is that a part of your practice of sort of forgiving? Look, I was
for sure.
young, I was foolish, you know.
Sure, yeah. There's no blame. There's never any blame. It's not a question of good or bad. So, like in Buddhism, they often use the term skillful or unskillful. Now, the Western mind likes to go, "Oh, skillful's good, unskillful's bad." That's just like naturally how we do it because we're so conditioned. But it's not about that really. It's just like skillful actions perpetuate ease, peace, and kindness.
Mm.
Unskillful actions keep us bound to suffering and perpetuate suffering in the world. So, yeah, you can just look back and go, "Oh, look, there was a lack of skill there. That's nobody's fault." But now I can acknowledge that and learn to be skillful. So, like you said, I can forgive myself for not knowing any better, and I can move towards more skillful action in the world. So, and again, it's not sexy stuff, this is it. This isn't like deep no self, ninth jhana, transcendental universe folding into emptiness talk. It's just nuts and bolts, isn't it? It's like day by day, nuts and bolts. How are you living? What you're doing? What's the effect? And
Yeah.
you'd be surprised. Well, I mean, what you're describing is exactly that. It has a profound effect on people's well-being, like
Yeah.
profound, way more profound than any single insight you can have.